in the description for the tape, the screws, and the panels to make it easier for you to find them. So first thing we did is we mapped out where we want to put the panels on the roof of the camper here, and then got them all squared up. So I've got them lined up where I want them to be. They're butted together. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put some of this really sticky goop. What I like to do is get it off of the paper and just kind of make little balls, and then I can put them where the screw holes are going to go. And I'll just simply tuck it right underneath here at every spot where there's going to be a seam. And then when we screw it down, that'll push through, and it's also going to help not only seal it, but also glue it to help stick it to the roof. So now you've got a mechanical fastener and a sticky fastener as well. So it's pretty straightforward. The biggest thing you want to do is make sure you don't have screws that are too long, that are going to go straight through the roof and poke through on the inside. One thing I did forget to mention is I'm also going to put a little 3M tape on the front of the panels. What I don't want to see happen is wind getting underneath the panel and kind of lifting the panel up and making it flap. So I just want to seal that front edge up. And that's also where most of your pull is going to be from wanting to rip the panel off of the roof of the camper when you're going down the road. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get all the panels screwed in, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to run the wires. One thing you do want to remember when you're putting the screws in is snug is tight, tight is broken. If you over tighten the screws, you will strip them out because they are short screws and there's not much that they can grab to. So you want to just make sure that you're being careful when you're tightening them up so that you have a good anchoring point. Now the next thing we're going to do is some wire management. We're just going to zip tie the wires together so that they're not laying on top of the panel. One of the things that drew me to these panels is they're so thin and flat so that you don't notice them on the roof. They don't stick up, they're not gaudy. And the other thing is they're not going to catch wind, so I'm not going to get any wind drag from these, or it's going to be very minimal. You know, this sticks up a little bit, but the wind drag is going to be very minimal, and I also don't have a bunch of hardware to have to mount the panels on, so it's also going to save me a little bit on weight. And now for the part that you guys are all scratching your head wondering, what am I doing with an outlet cover? Cut the outlet cover of the tin snips, and this little track here, I cut a piece that's just as wide as this track that fits in here. And now what I'm going to do is use this as my wire management piece. And so I'm going to use my pliers to squeeze this piece down and then place it inside this track. And that'll keep my wires from popping out and moving around. So as you can see, it now kept them in there nice and snug. And then the next step will be getting more length of cord and running it the rest of the way up. Once I get to the front of the camper, I'm going to have the cord come down probably halfway down the camper, maybe a little bit further. And then we're going to put one of these pigtails on the end of the cord. And the reason I'm going to do that is because this is a pop-up camper, I got to raise it up. And if I forget to unplug it, I want to make sure that I'm not going to just wreck the cords when I raise it up. So this will be able to unplug itself if I forget. And then I'll have a 5-foot extension that I'll make that I can just use to plug the two together once it's fully raised up. I thought about leaving it long, but the problem with that is if you forget about it and you don't tie it up, then it'll drag on the ground and it'll wreck the wire. So I figured this would probably be the best route for the front of the camper. And then from there it'll go to the charge controller, and then the charge controller to the battery. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below, and I'd be happy to answer anything that I'm able to. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a blessed day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.